Tony Moll was a fifth-round draft choice by the Packers in 2006. And as a rookie, he stepped right in at guard on a team that was just getting started under new head coach Mike McCarthy.
An amazing time frame. You know, for me, coming out of college where I played mainly tight end, and my senior year I got switched over to O-line due to a need. And next thing I know, the next year I'm getting drafted to be a right guard for the Packers. Growing up in California, you know, watching the 49ers, you know, it's a bitter rivalry that, you know, I was on the other side of it. And now I'm a part of the green and gold and learning these traditions. And at the same time, you know, being a part of this amazing space, just giving it everything I got. And next thing I know, I'm thrown into the starting role, and it was just like, okay, here we go.
Who had the greatest influence on you? I mean, was it the O-line coach at the time, or players? I mean, as you started your career, who had the most impact?
The best part about being on the offensive line is how close-knit the group can become. And that's when it becomes ultra special. From the older guys that we got to play with, like Cliffy and Tausch and Scott Wells, you know, just to name a few. But then, you know, also having James Campen, who's, you know, recently played and now the assistant O-line coach. You could see that there's such a cohesion within the group that as a rookie, it made it a little bit easier.
2007, you guys, not much is expected. I mean, you guys finished up 2006 pretty well, but again, not a lot expected. Things started happening. You took off on what I called a blessed run. Talk about that year for the team. How did it all come together?
Right, I think that was it. I mean, we were still trying to prove ourselves. No one was expecting much from us, you know, from the last couple of years but slowly we progressed. 06, getting a little bit better, coming in 07, and it's like, all right, we now feel like we had a good team, that we can make a solid punch at the season, and you know, we showed up every single game. It felt like we were on cue. Defense was getting just, you know, I'd never been a part of a team that had such a great defense, and to be able to finally have a defense that, you know, they could take the field and you know that they were going to stop whoever we were going against. And then on the offense, we just need to do what we do best, is just punch down the field.
I want to talk about a couple of games. The first one was a big matchup in Dallas against the Cowboys, two best teams in the NFC record-wise at that time. It became a big shootout. Brett got injured early, Brett Favre, injured early, and Aaron Rodgers came on. What did you see that night? Did you see what other people thought might be the start of something big?
Yeah, I mean, I got to play with Aaron. You know, we're the same age, and I got to play with him when he was, you know, yet to take the field, you know, take over for Brett, and, you know, always wanting that to be able to be that starting quarterback, and finally getting that for him to be able to happen in Dallas. I mean, it was the energy, kind of, you could see it. Everybody's like, okay, he's now proven himself, and we know we're good going forward.
Right. The Giants upset the Cowboys. Were you guys just a little disappointed you didn't get the Cowboys again, or not?
No, I think it kind of played into it, right? I don't know. Maybe it was just my immaturity of, you know, being younger, but it was like, you know, hey, the Giants just pulled out a fluke, and now we're going to be able to play the easier team. Like, that's how I felt. I was like, you know, and I don't know if everybody felt as relaxed as I was, and maybe that was the mistake that we were able to, you know, fall into, but you know, I still feel like we prepared well for the Giants, but you know, for them to be able to come in here and play, you know, with us, I wasn't expecting it.
The Giants game itself, that cold night, one of the coldest games in Lambeau Field, maybe the second coldest to the Ice Bowl. What do you remember from that?
I tried to block it out. You know, it was such a bad ending, but yeah, I mean, that was it. I mean, everything was just frozen, and it was like this is why they call it the frozen tundra. It was just hard surfaces everywhere. You didn't want to put your fingers in the ground because they would start freezing. You know, that's pretty much how I remember it. Just a grudge match that never wanted to end, and we couldn't escape and get up ahead of them, and you know, just a terrible fourth quarter.
You played with two great quarterbacks, two of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of this franchise: Brett Favre early in your career, and Aaron Rodgers afterward. Are they totally different? Are they the same? Tell me.
Totally different of each other in a great way. You know, being able to play with a legend within Brett when I was on my younger side was amazing. It was, you know, everything a kid would want out of, you know, being able to play with an incredible quarterback that had a storied career. You know, but then for me, having Aaron, who's my same age, and you see it in practice, how he can just, how accuracy was his biggest thing. He could throw the ball everywhere and it'd always be on point. But then we had a quarterback that could now run, and that was the best thing. I mean, you know, granted, Brett was just in his later part of his career where, you know, running, you know, became slower for him. But now, you know, Aaron would take over and, like, we could do QB sneaks and QB draws, and he could break off and get us a first down if we needed it. And it was like, that was amazing too for an offensive line. I mean, it was just, you know, hey, let's get a fresh set of downs. And, you know, but, you know, ultimately being able to play with two unbelievable quarterbacks here just, you know, has created some of the best memories.
Tell me about, you know, your experience. You had your teammates with you, and you eventually, after you left Green Bay, actually got into business with a couple of your teammates in a wine business. Tell us about that.
So we actually started it while we were playing here, and so Jason Spitz, Darren College, and myself, and so it's called Three Fat Guys, and it's a fun wine brand based out of Sonoma. When we make Sonoma and Napa wines, I live in Sonoma full time. My family's been there forever, and so it's something that. You know, to be able to get into the wine industry is great, and be able to do it with friends and built around friendship and having a lot of fun and still trying to make the best wine possible.
It has turned out financially pretty good from a business standpoint?
No, every year we continue to grow. So there's we're not recouping a bunch of money yet, but it pays the bills and, you know, keeps this thing rolling.
Green Bay, and is it the people? Is it the place? Is it everything that you remember? Because you're a Packer for life, even though you played elsewhere.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, for me, the first day I walked into the state, it was, you know, you could see how much everybody embraces the Packers, and it's really special to be a part of. You know, even like today, coming here, you can just see it, feel it. The stories, the traditions. You know, I tell people, you know, I wore 75, but that was never my number. It was Forrest Gregg's number. And to be able to have that experience, walking through the tunnel, walking over the bricks, walking onto the field, you know, there's such an electricity to that you don't really feel elsewhere.
So we toast Packers alumni Tony Moll and his teammates at Three Fat Guys Wines, who made good.